Hey, peace and blessings. Just wanted to share some thoughts to continue to encourage you on the journey as we each are on the journey of developing. Whatever is not being developed is being torn down. There's a difference between ages and stages. I'm 37 and I'm surrounded by younger men in the Army. At 37, my 4 years in does not equate to a 25-year-old's or 30-year-old's 6 to 10 years in. At 37, me going on my first deployment does not equate to the experience of a 25-year-old who's already been on a deployment. And I've learned the importance of respecting the fact that just because I may be older, that does not mean that I'm more intelligent, that I'm more experienced, that I'm more qualified than someone who is younger. Very important. Another thing that I want to share is that your age does not determine your stage. There could be a person who's 23 years old who has a very high level of self-awareness, high level of understanding natural laws and certain procedures that affects the way they make decisions. A very high level of those around them, which affects their relational IQ. And then you can have somebody who's 45 who is as immature in their decision making. And if you observe them at 45, they're still living in a fantasy world. Or if you talk with them, you walk away disappointed because you thought that at 45, they can give you more to chew on. They can give you more direction. They can offer more perspective to you than what they have to offer. Ages and stages. So with that being said, don't just focus on your age. Focus on your stage. And as we get older, I think that becomes even more of a task, a challenge, because our society teaches us that at a certain age, we should be doing certain stuff, right? At 21, you should be able to go and have a drink of alcohol. What if at 21, based on your previous experiences putting alcohol in your body, which I don't support anybody drinking alcohol, plain and simple. I've chosen to give it up, so I'm not even having a glass of wine anymore as I once did at the house, not even doing it. Nevertheless, at 21, what if your previous experiences has made it clear to you that if you drink even one glass of alcohol, you will be opening up the floodgates to all type of issues. You'll be pulling the trigger to all type of different patterns that will lead to further complications of your well-being. Does your age determine that you should be drinking? What about another popular one in our society? Because really that wasn't the best example. And that is the idea that by 25, you should already have a college degree. By 26, you should already have your first home. By 27, you should be married and on your first or second child already. And sometimes, because these messages are covert instead of overt, we don't even realize that they're affecting the way we see ourselves, the way we judge our environment and those around us. But what happens when we start to become more mindful of our stage? Because see, check this out. At 26, if you know, hey man, I quit college, I've never really stuck it out with a job, I suck at saving, I got a mountain of debt. Knowing that reality and knowing that stage that you're at will help you not to adopt that false idea that leads to an unrealistic expectation that, hey, I'm supposed to have a house, I'm supposed to have a child, I'm supposed to be married. No, you're not. If you haven't been faithful in proving yourself capable based upon the previous stages that you've passed through or you've been confronted with, no, you're not supposed to be more than you are, be further than you are. No, focus on completing the stage, the level that you're at. And I think that also helps us with our mental health and well-being when we be honest with the stage that we're at. Be honest, man. And if you know you've been faithful on that previous stage of life and you've done what was required, yeah, rightfully so, you should demand of yourself to graduate to that next level. But don't expect to graduate when you know you've been missing homework assignments, failing pop quizzes and tests. Nah, you need to go back to that homework assignment, do it, complete it. You need to go back to the pop quiz and test, prove that you understand the material well enough to pass it. And then you move on. So it's okay. You're 30, you're 25. It's okay. You're not where you would like to be. Sit down, examine your stage. Examine your patterns of decision making. What have you quit? What have you walked away from? What are some of your weaknesses? And as we learn to concentrate on improving in those areas, I promise you, it's a law of nature. Once you prove yourself worthy at a current level, just like a game of Mario, you will advance to the next, where there will be greater responsibilities, where there will be greater challenges and obstacles, where there will be greater rewards and consequences. But because we've proven ourselves on the previous stage, we'll be prepared for the next one. So difference between stages and ages, you know. And my last thought is never be too cocky or too arrogant to think that you can't learn from somebody who's younger than you, from somebody who is just coming to the party, because it's possible that they have experiences that you don't have. And if you're willing to learn, you can learn from their experience, but you gotta be humble, gotta have that spirit of a learner. So just wanna encourage y'all with those thoughts as I'm in a season of learning some valuable lessons. Be greatly encouraged, be enriched in your mind and spirit, be protective over what is divinely yours. Speaking about your individuality, speaking about your influence, speaking about your soul that's divinely yours. Don't allow any type of trash to just come and settle in. Don't allow anybody to dictate and direct which way you go and how you move without you making sense of it as being a good way to go. Don't feed yourself anything that the media is telling you through your phone, you know, through media. Nah, be protective, because what you got is something special. Peace and blessings.